Thanks so much for joining me, parents of Anderdon Mustang current students. Could I just ask you for one moment to introduce yourselves around? We'll start with the Bowman family.
Yeah, so Ryan and Kara, and our little guy is in JK.
Awesome. So first year at school this year. Thank you.
You're at school. Yeah.
Next, Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Cott, and my son is in junior kindergarten as well this year at Anderdon.
Excellent. You've got more than one, though, here, don't you, Miss Cott?
I do. I have one in grade 1 as well.
Exciting. And Miss Mayu.
Hi, I have a son. I'm Maggie Mayu, and he is in JK as well.
How's it been since your little one joined kindergarten? And I know it's a weird year, but that's okay. You can talk about that too. How's it been after choosing Anderdon for your children?
I know myself, it's been a comfort. Right from the first day of school, we drive our son to school, greeted by staff there. And our son absolutely loves coming to school, loves sharing what he's learning, all his friends that he's meeting. And even during the shutdown to online, I was amazed at how fantastic the teachers did at keeping 4 and 5-year-olds engaged online. And just, my son still continued to love school. I can't say enough things about the awesome teachers in the kindergarten program at Anderdon.
So how's it been for both of you bringing your very first child to school?
We knew from his daycare experience that he was going to thrive in a structured environment, like the school can provide him. So he was super excited to get going, anxious because it was a new experience. But he was so excited from the get-go. And for us, we were excited for him because we knew we couldn't provide the same structure that he needed here. And his teachers have definitely been able to do that for him. Yeah.
I would say, especially in the COVID situation, one thing that was really hard for us was knowing that we would have to send him to school without having being there ourselves. We couldn't do the typical, maybe go the first day and wave from the back of the classroom or something. But honestly, in all honesty, I think it was better. He, as Maggie mentioned, was greeted from the moment he was out of his car seat, by staff. Was made to feel so welcome. And by day 2 was like, bye, and then and we were like, okay, bye. I'm fine. School is amazing. I love this. And even after when we were, doing the 6 or so weeks of remote learning, I thought, this will be interesting. Maybe he'll have another kind of, some hesitancy going back, and not at all. He was like out the car, like, bye, I'm going to school, and just so, happy to be in the environment and to be with friends.
Ms. Cott, what about yourself? This is your second, so you're you're the veteran on the team here.
It is. And I think for our youngest, Colton did go to daycare beforehand, but when I would drop Connor off at Latchkey on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Colton would come in with us for the last couple of years, and he would see the JK room. And I think the first time that we came in, he was just ready to stay, and he wasn't going to daycare. He was just staying at Latchkey all day. Which if there was that program, then that would have been great. But he was rearing to go as soon as JK started, and he couldn't have been happier to be at Anderdon and go to Connor's school, because that's what he kept calling it. But he is the same thing. He gets up in the morning and he wants to go, and he has so much fun with his friends, and he's made great friends, and there's so many activities. He loves the JK play yard and everything that's been new to that this year. And the teachers are wonderful. The structure, even again in COVID, in the remote learning, was unbelievable how structured everything was and the variety of activities that his class had. And it just kept them engaged. And even the teachers' ability to have small group meetings during that platform was almost like working in small groups at school for the kids, and it made them that much more engaged. But going back to school just in the last week, he's come home so excited every day about playing with his friends and talking about his teachers and all of the fun things that they do at school. So we're just so fortunate that the teachers and the school are so welcoming, and that they come home so happy every day just from learning, both Colton and JK, and Connor now in grade 1, who also started in JK at Anderdon. So we've been nothing but pleased with our experience at Anderdon.
Why did you choose Anderdon? I mean, I know you live in the area, so that it kind of makes sense that you go to the school where you live, but there still are some choices for parents. Why did you choose Anderdon Public School?
Well, part of my view from it was being a supply teacher. I was always welcomed into Anderton every single time I came. I got to know the staff, and as I got to know staff, and they started asking me about my family, and then they're like, "When's your son coming?" And I was like, "Soon." And just getting pumped up and getting interested in my life, and who my son was before he even came. We have other friends who have kids that have long graduated Anderton and have kids in there and just say nothing but fantastic things. So word of mouth was also another comfort to send him. As we were teetering on another school, we definitely chose Anderton.
How come you guys chose Anderdon, Bovance?
Well, I think for us it was interesting because we made a big move from Ottawa here, so we didn't actually know a lot about some of the local schools, but we did know that we wanted Theodore to attend a school that was going to have a really open, inclusive mindset. It was really important to us that he would grow up in a learning environment that was as I say, as inclusive and welcoming as possible. And so that's one of the main reasons we chose sort of to go the public school route. We were really pleased with the kind of messaging around, being welcome, being, a good friend and all those, things we want even our little ones to really be raised with. But I will say, when we made the move, so many people had said to us, Anderdon is an amazing school. It's this hidden gem nobody, sometimes people don't often hear about, but the staff is incredible and the teachers are amazing. And we definitely can confirm that, having experienced the last, 6 months of Theodore being there. The staff is incredible. And I think more people need to hear about the school and how amazing it is, especially as this area, continues to sort of get built up and possibly welcome more families.
I mean, I can echo a few things. I mean, we had initially thought that Theodore was going to end up at a different school, and when we were told about the zoning and that if he wanted to be in just the public board, he would have to go to Anderdon. So we admittedly didn't know much at first, but I swear every person we talked to had a positive thing to say about Anderdon, or they would say, I know so-and-so who went there so many years ago, or somebody who just left there, and everybody had done nothing but fantastic things to say. And they have all, we've all seen how true those sentiments have been just in these few months since Theodore started. So
Great.
Yeah.
Do you remember back, Stephanie, when you chose Anderdon? Was it an obvious choice for you, or were you thinking about other schools as well?
Well, we knew that we wanted our kids to be in the public board, and we had family who was attending Anderdon. We still have lots of family at Anderdon, and we also knew some teachers from Anderdon, and I work with parents whose kids go to Anderdon still and have graduated. So it's a lot of what's already been said, that the word of mouth and just the feeling of how great of a community school Anderdon is. It truly is a family, and that's what we wanted for our kids. We wanted them to go somewhere where we knew that they would be welcomed with open arms, and every single person that we talked to when we moved actually out to this area a few years before Connor started JK was exactly that, and we knew that that's what we were looking for, and it really is a hidden gem. We heard that phrase often as well, and it just was an all-around positive message that we got about Anderdon, and that really solidified our decision for us when we were signing Connor up for JK.
Is there something that a message you might share to them as they consider which school to send their children to?
I think I would just say that in going to Anderdon, not only have our kids flourished in their classrooms, but they also have programs like music and phys ed, where there's other teachers that are also working with them. And I know both of my kids, they have met so many other students that aren't in their grades that are helpful to them, and so many other teachers that are helpful to them, and they come home and they talk about meeting Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so, and we went to the library today and we had music today. And I think all of those experiences individually, when you bring them together, just has made their whole Anderdon experience that much richer in their learning and the friends that they've made. And as parents, we have so much comfort in knowing that when they go off to school, they are learning and they're having fun and they're happy. And we see all of that because the communication is so open with the teachers and the staff. We see pictures of our kids at school and we hear about all of the activities that they're doing. So I think that for us, that makes every day that much easier, knowing that our kids are so happy being at Anderdon. And as a teacher myself, I appreciate that so much from the Anderdon staff. And I think it's a great school. And I hope that other families have an opportunity to see that.
Thank you. To the Bovens, this has been a weird year to start school with a junior kindergarten. I mean, my goodness, talk about a hard thing to do, to build strong relationships virtually. It's a bit of a challenge. What's made the difference for you guys?
I mean, that was definitely a really challenging thing, was not being able to go into the school prior to the start of the school year, to see where Theodore was going to be spending 5 days a week, to not meet the teachers in person. Virtually meeting, it's a great alternative, but it still doesn't substitute for being there and seeing how he could interact with the space. I've been fortunate enough to be a part-time school aide at Anderdon since the start of the school year. So I've been in helping out on lunch hours and during the nutrition breaks. And from the moment you walk in, it's such a welcoming environment, especially those kindergarten rooms. My goodness, like the very moment you walk in, it's just welcome.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is that we've been really surprised by how, Theodore also, he started school when he was 3. Like, he was a really young JK. So we had a kind of, I think a lot of legitimate reasons to be kind of concerned. But within a couple weeks, Theodore was telling us all about his friends. Theodore was telling us all about his teachers, about, the things he was learning, the people he was interacting with, the different to echo some of the other comments, the really well-rounded kind of learning he was doing, going out in the Mustang woods. Like, this was something I had no idea. What is this? And it started, a conversation where we could look up pictures and he could tell us all about it. And at, 3.5, 4 years old, he was filling those gaps in for us, which I think is a testament to the teachers and the staff at Anderdon, that our son could give us the confidence that he was happy, he was, learning and growing in a really safe environment. So, especially this year, especially for parents who, haven't been able to have the same kind of, normal, integration that families have, I think we just felt incredibly lucky that we chose Anderdon for Theodore.
And if I can just offer one more thing. We try most nights at dinner to just ask each other what our favorite parts of the day was. And every day during the week, if you ask Theodore, he will always say, just being at school. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Maggie, one of the things that happens when we welcome new families is often parents will say, we're not sure he's ready. Can you please tell us? He's very shy. She's very shy. They always want to fill us with comments about their child because I think it's hard for parents to bring them and let them go. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Absolutely. I can think about how nervous I was for being the first day of school as a parent of a JK. And like you said, not being able to enter the building. But one thing I appreciated from Anderdon is we did a outdoor visit through the window. So we lifted our son up to the window and his teachers were like, there's your cubby, there's the paint easel, there's this. And my son was so excited, and it gave a comfort to us as well because that relationship was built right away, even through a window. And my son still talks about, he remembers that day in September still. And I think too that the ones that are shy, they find somebody else in the class, they find a friend, they find that peer. The great thing about this year, my son always talks about his table mate. And they rotate table mates like you would in an older grade do a desk change. And he's really started to develop friendships with people he probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for, this table situation or these table assignments, because normally that doesn't happen in kindergarten. If you know a friend from a previous, whether it's daycare or outside of the school, you gravitate to that one person. But this year has really allowed for that blossoming of friendships and allowing those friends who might be a little bit shy these extra opportunities. It's just been such a comfort. Similar things that have been said, like it's just, our son comes home and fills in the gaps, and it's amazing, and it's a comfort to hear that how much he loves school, and it's fun, and yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Miss Mayu, Miss Cott, and the Bovans. Thank you very much for taking your time to talk to me today, and just give our new parents a chance to hear from real life Mustang parents. And at the risk of this looking like a plant, yes, you're both teachers for our district, but that is not why I called you. And Ryan, you have come in and worked with us on a number of occasions. If anything, I would think that gives you even more of a critical eye, because you're here and you see and you both know education. So you've got a critical eye about what a school can bring to a young person's life. So I really appreciate your kind words and your kind words about our staff. And when we hear things like, "Oh, Anderdon's a hidden gem, and it's such a great school," it's just made out of brick after all. What really makes a school amazing is the people inside of it. And those are the kids, right? The kids that we serve and the families we serve. So it's because of your families and all of our families and our new families that the school continues to be such a great place. So thank you very much for joining me today and sharing your words with our prospective parents.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.